Hey guys, welcome back. It's great to see you again. If you're here, I'm not quite sure. I know there's been a lot going on in the real world, not so much interest in VR at the moment. Um, so I'm running a little dry on content as well. So what I've got for you today is just a story. It's about slime VR units, and I'm gonna tell you what happened to me and how to avoid the mistakes that I made. All right. So start way from the beginning. Last year, right? Slime VRs are delayed even further, the official slimes, and I take matters into my own hands. I look around, look on some Discord servers, and I find of people that make them as commissions, and you can commission them to make trackers. And I was ecstatic. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna get good quality trackers, super good, and they're gonna be cheap, and it's gonna be exactly like Slime VRs. So immediately, I went ahead and hit up one of the potential commissions, and I went ahead and made sure that I've made all the necessary requirements to make sure I had enough money. And I contacted him directly, and he was very fast with getting back to me. I'm not going to name who it was, and it's because of what happens later. So I actually think about it a lot, and I'm like, okay, well, I think I'm going to want the 8 tracker setup. So essentially, Slime VRs work differently than Vives do. Vives only need 3 points of tracking to get good tracking. Slime VRs actually need a lot more than that because they're less accurate. And the 8-point tracking would actually give me chest tracking, hip tracking, leg tracking, like thighs, ankle tracking, and feet tracking, which is almost the best you can do besides elbow tracking. And I was like, perfect. There's no downside. Sounds great. Everything's gonna be great. So I ordered the trackers, send the money through PayPal, and yeah. So a couple weeks go by. I'm like, hey, what's up? Where's the trackers? A couple more weeks go by. Shipping company still hasn't shipped it. A lot of BS, lots of returns back to him, and trying to ship it a bunch of times. All in all, it takes 2 months, a little more than 2 months, to get to me. Finally, after a lot of heartache, a lot of trouble, finally gets to me. Didn't know if they would. I'm like, yes, full body, let's go. It is now like January, and I finally got them back after ordering them in November. So now that I've got the trackers, I'm like, perfect, let's set it up, download the Slime VR servers, and I boot up everything, attach them, charge them. Everything was going great. Then I put them on and tried to use them. That is where things went wrong. So apparently they had been flashed wrong, and pretty much what that means is each IMU or gyroscope in each unit was tuned wrong. Like you would tune a car. If you tune it wrong, it doesn't work well. It'll just keep backfiring. Same idea. These were not tuned right or flashed right, and so every time you were to put them on, it thinks it's in a different location than it actually is. And they were also not calibrated correctly, so they would drift. Now, the bad thing about IMU trackers instead of lighthouse-based trackers is that they drift a lot because it's making up numbers that it thinks it's at and positioning yourself at it. So if they're not calibrated correctly, they will drift super duper bad. So anyways, I go to the official Discord server. That first day, I am on top of it, trying to get it done. And it doesn't matter. I tried reflashing them multiple different ways. Nothing was working. I got help from even the higher ups in the Slime VR server, and they were so nice. They helped so much. I was trying to send messages to my commissioner, and they would not get back to me for a while. And then they replied back with the correct flashing units in degrees, and I flashed the trackers. Perfect, right? Yeah, so turns out he gave me the wrong measurements once again. So they were wrong, nothing looked right. Here, I'm gonna throw a picture on the screen. This is what it looked like. Me just standing still, not moving, straight up. That's how bad it was, for example. And so yeah, it was not a fun time. So after all that, I finally got on phone with him. I got on a phone call and I was like, all right, well, let's just get this figured out. On the phone call, one of the solders breaks and kills 2 of my trackers. Because if you didn't know, slimevr trackers actually have 2 types of units. So you have your main units, which has batteries and all the necessary required materials, and then you have your aux accessories, like a chest tracker, for example. So you got your main unit on your hip, and then your accessory on your chest, which helps cost savings, right? And yeah, so one of the main units broke, which also killed an auxiliary unit. Didn't work. So I paid $340, and didn't work. Nothing worked. The solders broke. Finally, we come to an agreement that I'm gonna ship it back, get my money back. That takes a long time. I have to pay for shipping. Finally get the refund back. Not even just a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And it's now the end of February, beginning of March by the time I release this video. And wow. So please listen to me. Be so careful when you're buying from non-official sources on slimevr trackers. And my advice would be to wait for the official ones. And I don't want to put anyone who's making trackers out of business, of course. But wow, it was horrific. I wasted so much of my life and so much money that I never got back. And shipping and taxes. It was bad. I thought I did enough research. Apparently I didn't. Do your research. Risk management. Just please don't be blinded by the cheap full body. And do your research. So I actually now that I've sold them back, I have new full body trackers that a friend was kind enough to provide me. And I don't know if you can really tell here, but yeah, I have legs, and these are actually Vive trackers. These are 1.0 base stations and 2.0 trackers. So really super old Vives. And guess what? They work. So I'm going to be doing an official review probably after I post this video sometime later. And I'll let you know how they actually are. So yeah, so that's that. Also, one more disclaimer for slimevr. If you have bad Wi-Fi, don't even bother. Don't bother. Because these are all Wi-Fi based. And even when I was getting good numbers on my, certain trackers that were actually working, there was so much latency. I would move my leg, like my head would move this way, and then eventually my waist would carry over, and it was so bad. So please don't make my mistake. I beg of you. And if you watched all the way to the end, you heard my rant. Just please be careful. Just there's a lot going on in VR right now. It's not in the best of places, but that's all natural. Things go ups and downs, and it was severely inflated by all the metaverse hype, and now it's back to its normal levels where it should be. So obviously we're going to see some hardware declining, some companies getting out of the business. So I think this is a good thing. I think we should be seeing a normal, back to where it was, steady increase in interest and hardware. So please be safe out there, guys, and be looking out for my Vive video. And alright, guess that's about it. Try to keep it short, but I probably didn't, so I apologize. Alright. Well, I'll see you guys later.